Hey guys, Nick Carter here again. I wanted to make a video real quick to document my experience, my college experiences. Now, first off, right off the bat, I mean, from the time we've been born, we've been told to go to college, get a good education, and then eventually find a good job. As a result of having that good education, may help us be more successful in the job field. Now, as a whole, I think there's so many things wrong with college education. As a whole, I personally think that I'm not going to be biased in my opinion. I am biased in my opinions, guys. I think college as a whole is there to profit. It is not exactly there to provide you a good education. Now, are there good teachers? Absolutely. But when you look at it, when you look at where the money goes, you think, okay, here's these teachers, they're good people, they're hardworking people, they're the ones teaching our future leaders, our future workers. You'd think that they'd get a lot of the money. Now, they don't really make great income. They don't really do too well. Now, I understand when you have a college, it's like any other business, you have expenses. But when I first went to college, alright, when I transferred out of a 2-year school, which not community college is cheaper, I went to a 4-year school and they had orientation. And the first thing that they talk about when I get there is they're talking about this student ID I have that I can use as a form of currency. You can place money on this card and use it like a credit card at the school. And one of the things the guy leading the orientation said was, we can show you, we have this new interface online about how you can put more money on it, and you can ask mom and dad for money on you can ask mom and dad to put more money on your account. Now, I'm thinking to myself, isn't the function of a college to teach kids and young adults how to rely on themselves, not on parents? Not to rely on their parents? And the whole thing, like, when you go to pay a college bill, you'll see fees for your, like, what the hell is this for? And you realize that they're just tacking on fees and all the fine print about adding a class, dropping a class, losing money because of this, you didn't file on time. You realize that they're there to make money. Now, the teachers there are to teach. I believe that. I believe there's good teachers. There's a lot of good things. But I have this micro idea that could potentially help the financial situation. Now, do I think it'll be instituted? No, I don't, because I believe that colleges are there to make money off the individual. My idea is to try to get kids in school. My idea is to try, well, how do you decrease college debt? Now, okay, first let me get into this. College debt, okay? I was looking into it, and let's say I'm taking out a $100,000 loan to go to school. I calculated the debt on a decent loan. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I gave a modest interest rate. Now, for a lot of people, they wouldn't even get an interest rate that low. They may have to get it higher. But off of a $100,000 loan, you pay $50,000 in interest. Now, that's $150,000 somebody's going to be in debt. Now, when you look at it, you see there's older people, and they're still paying their student debt loans. And that's 20 years ago, even school was cheaper. The growth of college debt, going to college, is going up immensely. It's going up a crazy amount. And there's still people from past 20, 30 years ago still paying their student debts. Now, is it partially because of their irresponsibility of not being able to get paying their student loans when they should try to prioritize what they should and shouldn't buy? Absolutely. But as a whole, you're paying so much to student debt. And how are you supposed to adequately build a family when you got all this debt and you have all this over your head? And there's just so much going on. There's so much money you got to spend into school. And you got to think, is my education worth it? It's a piece of paper. Now, as a whole, there's technical degrees that are worth it, engineering degrees, and is it a personal opinion of mine that certain degrees are worth more than others? Absolutely, but I think many would agree that way. And you'll see people that are going to big $60,000 in to take degrees in English. Now, if you're interested in English, I'm not here to say take this degree, don't take this degree. You should do what you're interested in. But as a whole, like, there should be more technical degrees, and the function of a college is to ultimately make money, and that's the bottom line. They're profiting at every means of possibility they'll profit off of you, and that's true. I don't mean the teachers, I mean the college institutions as a whole. And at my school, which is crazy, I don't understand why they do this, but it's capitalism at its finest. They have a Burger King and a Dunkin' Donuts in the school. And you're thinking to yourself, why do they do that? Because that's probably because they can make the most money, because they know kids like Burger King and they know they like Dunkin' Donuts. And with my card, when I go and the semester's over, you get 2 semesters to use it, but it's only if it's within the same year. The next year, if you still have money left over, they don't give it back to you, which doesn't make any sense. Now, and they expect you. Do I think people should donate? Absolutely. Do I think if you can donate money to help to help others, you should. I mean, I don't do it as much as I should, but it's something I believe in, of course. And they ask students to donate money off their Clipper card. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't you donate some money? You're the one taking all this money from me. And that's the truth. And that's a lot of kids think this in the back of their minds, but they really don't formulate it inside their head. And it's all for a piece of paper. Will I feel accomplished when I get that degree? Absolutely. I know I'll put hard work in, but as a whole, it's so much jumping through hoops. And the idea that I have that I'd like to allude to now is if you can decrease the amount of debt a college kid is in, this ultimately creates prosperity for the individual, and that student is on the micro level. The individual, if he can decrease the amount of debt he is in, he can pay it off quicker. That's more money, more free money, more disposable income. I don't know that you call it disposable, but to place a down payment on a house that could potentially fix the housing situation. Now, I like to get into my personal opinion on the financial situation. Now, you don't calculate your worth and your debts. And basically, the whole entire U.S. economy is based off of debt, based off printing money. It should be from the time a kid is in elementary school, he should be taught the value of saving $1. But it's very hard to try to teach something when the leaders and the people we put in power contradict the very values we wish to instill upon our youths. But there's just a lot of contradiction, and just college as a whole it is a scam to me. I mean, are there good teachers? Absolutely. But there is a way you can decrease the amount of time a kid is in college, decrease the amount of debt he is in. And I know I'm from Massachusetts. In the past, I believe that my teacher was talking about how his daughter got to go to school. She had something called a mass transfer, and she was able to go to school for free because they cut tuition virtually to none. Now, what they've done since then is they've switched. It sounds all crazy, and they overcomplicate the process to make it seem they overcomplicate the process. Then you're like, it doesn't have to be this complicated. There's no straight line. They switched tuition costs. It used to be that the bulk of the cost of school was in tuition, but then now they switch it to fees. So the money you do get off as a result of having a mass transfer, which is a 2-year associate's degree, and there's other ways to get it, that mass transfer, is that they switch the tuition and the fees. So now you only get about $600, $700, $800 off your tuition, which is really minuscule it's really a minimal amount when you think about the whole cost of tuition. Well, not tuition, but the whole cost of school. And it just, as a whole, you sit in class and you sit there, and there's a lot of English classes, there's a lot of math classes, and on a personal level, what I do like about school is the people whom you do meet a lot of good people, and it does make it worth it. But there's so many people right now that are going to school racking up over $100,000 in debt, and you're wondering just how people are gonna get out of it. Are there people that get out of it? Of course there are, and I commend them on it. But on a personal level, I want to decrease the amount of debt I have coming out of school as much as possible so I can start building wealth for myself. That's ultimately the whole function of college, just is to profit. And I've reiterated that several times throughout this video, and that's the absolute truth. You sit there and you look at for those of you in school, parents of kids watching this video, look at the cost of school, and you'll look at the bill, and you're like, where the hell are all these fees coming from? They're tacking them on. They're trying to convince you that you have to pay all these fees, and I guess you do. There's nothing you can do about it. But all I'm saying, guys, is college needs an overhaul, and something needs to be done so that the individual has a better chance. And it gets into politics and other things of that nature that I'm not really interested in getting into. But just start looking into college and make your own opinions on this. Take care, guys. I'll speak with you soon. Nick Carter out.